Hey friends! So I was struggling with something last week and I was basically just wrestling with God about it, and this is what was going through my mind. I kept thinking about Moses and the Israelites, and what I was saying was, God, if you parted the Red Sea for me, or if you dropped manna from the heavens, because he literally dropped food from the sky to feed them, and in turn, the Israelites complained because they were sick and tired of eating the same thing all the time. What I was saying was, if you did all that stuff for me, I would never doubt you. I would never question you. I would know that you're going to provide for my every need. And while had all these thoughts going through my mind, out of nowhere, I was reminded of a story that happened to me and Kevin years ago. And it was as if God was whispering on my heart, "Oh, but I have." So I'm going to share that story with you. But before I do, just in case you are like, who the heck is Moses and the Israelites and the Red Sea and what are you talking about? I am going to give a quick Cliff Note version. I will not do the story justice, so please, it's awesome. Go to Exodus in the Bible. Go online, just Google Moses, Israelites, Exodus. It'll come up. Read it for yourself. But here is a short Cliff Note. So the Israelites were slaves to King Pharaoh, and God used a man named Moses to be his spokesperson. And Moses was going to be the guy to go to Pharaoh and demand that he free the Israelites. The interesting thing is, Moses had a speech impediment. He had a really bad stutter. So I imagine Moses, when he got this message from God, he was probably like, "No, you got the wrong person. I am not spokesperson material." He was very insecure about it. I picture him being the guy who is so insecure to talk to people that he breaks out in a cold sweat to talk to his third cousin at a Christmas party. You get the picture. So Moses ends up, he's obedient, and he goes to King Pharaoh and he says, "Let my people go." And Pharaoh says, "No." And they do this dance back and forth. "Let my people go." "No." And this goes on and on. And God sends plagues. And finally, King Pharaoh is like, "The heck with these Israelites. They are not worth the trouble. Get them out of here." And he freed them. So let's think about this picture for a minute. Here are these Israelites who have been slaves for years, generations. There's children, there's kids, there's grandparents, and they're leaving, they're walking out free people. And I picture what this must have felt like. They must have been dancing in the streets. Literally, it was a big party. And they were on a quest to the promised land. Well, that was short-lived because Pharaoh all of a sudden starts to realize, well, wait a minute, I don't have any more slaves. Who's going to feed me grapes? Who's going to fan me? Who's going to clean my mansion? Somebody go get me the Israelites. I need my slaves back. So he sends armies of men to go after the Israelites. So here are the Israelites, and they are now in front of this huge body of water, the Red Sea. And I picture on the horizon, they can hear or even maybe see a little bit of Pharaoh's army coming. And they're thinking, I don't get it. Here we are. We were let go. We've come so far. And now we're going to be captured or we're going to be swallowed by the water and killed. I don't understand the purpose of this. So Moses, being the leader and the man of God, he raised his staff or his walking stick, and the Red Sea parts. And there's dry land that all the Israelites can walk across to the other side. And when the last people get across, which again, I picture a mom with a baby, and she's got like a little toddler holding onto the side of her gown, and the dad is behind holding on to grandma to get across. And as soon as they're across, the Red Sea closes, and then you've got Pharaoh's army there, and they can't get across. So that's a little bit of the picture of the Israelites in the Red Sea. So what happened to Kevin and I was, Around 7 years ago, Kevin was called to ministry. So as a family, we made a decision that we were going to do anything and everything to support him. So we went down to one car and we shared a car. He closed his business and kind of just did odd jobs to pay for bills, but things were really, really tough for a few years. There were many times that we were not sure if the mortgage would be paid. So school, he was getting to the end of school. There were a couple more semesters left, and it was time to sign up for more classes. So we had a matter of days to get the money turned in. We had $300 set aside. He needed $600 for classes, $100 for books. So we needed $700. We had no idea where this other $400 was going to come from. Now, let me give you a little bit of backstory so you know, so this makes a little bit more sense of why this was such a big deal for me. I have a pretty good grasp on faith, except when it comes to finances. I will give you the shirt off my back. I'll give you all the time that I have, but I keep a really tight grip on my wallet. I think if I were to self-diagnose that this comes from somewhere in my childhood. I grew up struggling, watching my parents struggle. And, from an early age, my mom was a single mom. She worked a lot of jobs. And I just decided as an adult that I would never be in that position. And I thought the answer was just be responsible. You get a good job, you buy a house, you have a retirement, all of that. Everything involved me. There was nothing that included faith or God in that. So that's a little bit. And then I married Kevin, who has a strong grasp of faith when it comes to finances. He reminds me often that none of it belongs to us anyway. So we're really not giving away anything that it shouldn't be painful to give away. It's not ours anyway. So we have $300. We need $700. There's an event going on at our church, and all week they were providing dinner for all the volunteers, a lot of volunteers. And the small groups were putting it on. So the small group pastor came up to Kevin on Sunday, and he said, we had a last minute cancellation. We were small group leaders. This is why it fell on us. Can your small group cover dinner tonight? So it was going to be about $300 for pizza. So, and I'm already at home thinking we are going to have to live on ramen noodles this week because we have no grocery money. That $300 was everything we had. So we get home from church and he tells me, oh, by the way, this is what we're doing. I was furious. Not furious at Kevin, furious at our small group pastor because he knew us. He knew our situation. He didn't know about Kevin's school being due and the amount of money that we needed, but he knew that we were struggling to make ends meet. And I thought of everybody else in the church, why are they asking us? There's plenty of other people that $300 would have been nothing at that time. So I was really struggling with this. And Kevin just said, but he asked us. He asked us, we have the $300. God must have a plan. So we did. We bought the pizzas and then we just waited. We waited for our miracle. So this is Sunday. Monday morning, Kevin gets a phone call. Hey, can you come down to the church? We have something for you. So he goes down to the church and there's an envelope. And he opens the envelope and they explained that it was placed in the offering basket on Sunday. And he opened the envelope and inside was a check. And it said on the memo for Kevin Olmstead's schooling. And it was a check for $1,000. Now, you might be thinking $1,000, that's kind of a general number, not really much of a miracle there. However, the $1,000 was the $600 for Kevin's school, the $100 for books, and our $300 back for our pizza. So that was our miracle. That was our Red Sea being parted. And sometimes I need to be reminded of those stories. And I just want to say to all of you, you might be thinking, I don't have a financial miracle that has happened, but I know if you think hard enough, the Red Sea has been parted for you. Maybe it's with friends. I have a great story for that, but I'll save that for another day. Or kids, a baby, adoption, whatever it is, you do have a story to share. And these stories they should be on speed dial. They should be kept in your back pocket, ready to whip out, either for me, for my own reminder, or just to share with someone else and give them encouragement. So think about your Red Sea story, and I would love to hear it too. Have a great day.